Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, June the 25th. With me this week is Phil Stone from Stone's Guide Service. We both did a trip down here by the dam this morning, and he begged and pleaded and said, please let me be in the video, so he's in the video.
Here I am.
Here he is. Far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 920.38 as of 10 o'clock this morning and still rising. They have all 10 gates open 1 foot, 3 generators running, so they're running 20,000 cubic feet per second through the dam. Up above us at Beaver, they've got all the gates open. I think they're open 2 feet up there, and their generators running. They're releasing 15,000 cubic feet of water per second. So if you want to get out your abacus and do the math, we have less water coming in than is going out, so eventually the water will start dropping. But it will be a very slow drop. I fully expect it to keep rising just because all the water from the James, from the Kings, from Long Creek, from all the other feeder creeks that feed into this pond are still up and still running water. So I would expect the water to come up a little bit more before it turns around and goes back down. Of course, all of that current, we've been talking about it for a while, that we still don't have a thermocline set up because of the amount of current they ran earlier in the year. Well, we still don't have a thermocline because of all the current they're running right now. So that is making our deep bite a little bit tougher, but we are catching a few fish deep. As far as our water temperature, it did drop. We were last week 82, 83. You get up in the rivers where you got a little bit more color. Saw 84, 85, had a real good solid summer pattern starting to develop. And now we're down to 77, 78, at least down here at the dam. So water temperature has dropped a little bit as well. But if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I'm going to tell you not to, but say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, basically got 2 or 3 bites going on right now. Got a decent topwater bite going. It wasn't great this morning. We had an east wind, and it was actually quite chilly this morning. I think you were wearing a jacket, and I was wearing a hoodie when we took off this morning. So a lot cooler. I think we had 3 or 4 on top, and had a couple other blow-ups on it, but the topwater bite was kind of disappointing. But we are still catching them on top. Spook, Sammy, Popper, Whopper Plopper, Surge Shad, whatever you want to throw. Those baits are all working. Did you guys throw a topwater at all?
We didn't today. You know, it's kind of, you've got to, it all depends on the day. And like Eric said this morning, it was not the right morning for topwater. I had a trip last week, and a couple of high school kids, and one of them caught a double on a topwater. I mean, they were.
Yeah, we did that on Saturday. Actually, it was a triple because the one guy caught 2 on one bait, and his boy caught 1 on one bait. Yeah. So we had 3 coming in the boat at once. So.
It's just the day. You've got to, you know, hit and miss. You pick the right day, and they will eat it on top. Yep.
Other bites that are going on down here by the dam, swim bait bite is okay. Again, it's kind of like the topwater bite. Some days it's really good, some days it's not. Doing better with the Kitech 2.8 or the Bass Pro Speed Shad and 3-inch on that 1/4 ounce jewel net head. That's been working. But you know, some days it's great, some days it's not. It really depends on how where the shad are in the water column and how the fish are relating to the shad. If the shad are up, 10 feet deep or less, it seems like the swim bait bite's really strong. If the shad are down a little bit deeper, swim bait bite is tougher. I know I saw you on the water today throwing a swim bait. You guys do any good with it?
You've got to get out right at daylight. That first hour, 2 hours at daylight is the best. That's when the shad are going to be most active, and that's when that swim bait bite is going to be the best. It depends a lot too, like Eric said, on the water clarity. It's the water is a little stained from all this current and all this runoff and stuff right now, and it's not been the best, but that window first couple hours in the morning, it's not bad. Last week had a dad and a son, and the dad caught a 4.5 pound smallmouth on the.
Oh, it just depends on the day and where the shad are. I mean, the biggest key, if you guys get out there, and you're fishing and you're seeing a lot of shad, they're not fish aren't breaking the surface, but you're still seeing shad in that 8 to 10 foot range. Definitely throw a swim bait at them, because that seems to be the best depth when they're up in the water column, but the fish aren't chasing them to the surface. That really seems to be the strongest swim bait bite. And then the other bite that's working really well down here is a drop shot. That's what we caught most of our fish on today, was a drop shot rig. Most of the fish we caught today, and I'm going to blame it on the lack of the thermocline and the amount of current, most of the fish we caught today were on the tops of trees or off of dock cables. Most of them were 25 to 35 feet deep. We did catch a few a little bit deeper than that, but most of them shad-shaped worm, Konami cattail, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm. All those baits are working, but the bite is definitely better back in the creeks and the tops of those deeper trees. Overall depth for us today was anywhere from 60 to 80 feet deep, with trees that topped out somewhere in that 28, 30 foot down to about 40. And you can see the fish down in the trees, and every once in a while you get a couple of them to come up. They weren't biting great, but you get a couple of them to come up, and if you mess with them enough, you could certainly catch a couple on a drop shot today down here by the dam. You go up into the Kimberling City area, Mid-Lake area, bite is definitely a little bit better up that way. Still, you want to make sure you get a topwater tied on, because there's still fish coming up on topwater. You get the right day, right time, and you can load the boat on topwater. I mean, it'll last if you get a little bit of cloud cover. Not a lot. You don't want it to be raining, pouring, nasty, but if you get a little bit of cloud cover that's just breaking that sunlight up, topwater bite's been really strong on flats and on points. Mixed rock and gravel points have been really good with a spook, a Sammy, whopper, plopper, surge, whatever you want to throw there. The jig bite's been strong. We've been catching quite a few on a jewel football jig up in the Mid-Lake area. Now, haven't fished it since the water came up. I'll be honest with you, the water came up 1.5 feet yesterday, so I don't think it's going to hurt that jig bite. I actually would probably make it better.
Right.
I would assume that these fish are going to move up as long as the water is coming up, and they'll back off when the water starts dropping. But as long as this water is coming up, I mean, we caught them on a jewel football jig, the 5/8 ounce with a full skirt, matched up with a speed craw. Most of the fish last week were in that 10 to 20 foot range, but I would say with this water coming up, what do you think?
Probably going to be a little bit shallower. Some of the deep fish we were catching, and this is pretty typical this time of the year. They will run up and feed on crawdads. We were catching some today that we were in 90 feet of water and they had crawdads.
Yep. So they do definitely move up, and they'll move up shallow, and a football jig is a great way to target them. Most of the fish we caught last week, and I don't think it'll change with the water coming up, were on those gravel and rock mixed points. Not just straight pea gravel and not real big chunk rock, but if you've got a point that's got gravel and a little bit of rock mixed into it, especially bigger rock mixed into it, that's really key. And then the drop shot bite. The drop shot bite's been strong all over the lake, but in the Kimberling City area, they're a little bit shallower, but they're still, they're relating to trees more than they are the bottom. And the reason that is that we're just not, we don't have a thermocline.
Don't have a thermocline.
So, these fish can be anywhere, and if you're out there in 30 foot of water fishing the heck out of the bottom and that's not where they're at, you ain't gonna catch them.
Yep.
They may have slid out to 45 or 50 foot deep because there's no reason for them not to.
Right.
So, hit those treetops in those creek arms. That's where we're doing better. White's Branch was good last week. Kennel Branch was good last week. Mill Creek was good last week. Right in the guts of the creeks, or just off of the guts of the creeks, where it's 60 to 70, 80, 90 feet deep, where those trees top out to, 25, 30 feet deep. That really seems to be key.
Yeah.
Shad helps, but it's not necessary. Shad shape was working, cut tail was working, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worms. All those baits are working when you find the fish, and it may take a little bit of hunting and pecking, but you'll find a lot more fish in those trees than you're going to find out there on those gravel flats right now. Just until we get a thermocline set up. The thermocline sets up next week. They stop running water and sets up next week. Completely different deal.
Absolutely.
But right now, you need to be in the trees if you're going to drop shot.
And that's something you said, Eric, was once you find the fish, once you find them on the graph today, we would see them come up and they would go down. They'd come up to our bait and they'd go down. Well, if you keep messing with them, you're going to catch them.
Eventually, eventually you'll irritate them into biting because
Yeah.
they're curious. It's like fishing for a cat sometimes because if you keep messing with a cat, eventually he's going to swing at it.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with a fish. If you just keep messing with him, keep lifting it up and pulling it away from him a little bit, he'll get mad enough, he'll bite it. So, keep that in mind if you're going to be drop shotting, and definitely drop shot trees. Don't worry about drop shot in the bottom. Don't worry about fishing the main lake.
Right.
Everything is out there in those treetops. Go up in the James River. Now the James, I'm going to say has got color. I have not been up there. I haven't talked to anybody that's been up there, but just driving over top of the James for the last couple of days and seeing how chocolate milk colored the water has been, I'm going to say the James has got some pretty good color. That being said, you definitely want to throw a jig up there.
Yeah.
Get on those mixed rock and gravel banks, throw a jewel football jig, throw a jewel spider jig, either one of them. You're probably going to want to throw a little bit darker color, something like a black and blue if it's really muddy, or if it's not real muddy, a Missouri craw or a green pumpkin orange. Whatever you want to throw, or green orange. Match with something that's got a little bit of movement on it, whether it's a J-tail or a speed shad, something that's going to attract the fish in that dirtier water where they're going to have a harder time seeing it. I know there's going to be bushes in the water, so I would imagine you'll be able to flip bushes up there and catch some fish, both with a jig and with a creature bait. Like the Missile D-Bomb. I love throwing that thing around bushes. It's a great bait. Catch a lot of fish on it around bushes. Even a brush hog's a good bait. But I really like that D-Bomb a little bit better because it doesn't have all the stuff hanging off of it that tangles up in the bushes.
Right.
But D-Bomb will be good, even just a beaver, a big beaver or a smallie beaver, Texas rigged with a peg sinker. You should be able to catch fish in the bushes up there. I don't know that this is going to hurt the crankbait bite, but I can tell you if the water has dirtied up, that deep crankbait bite is probably not going to be as strong as it has been the last couple of weeks. So I wouldn't bank on that if you were going up to James. I'd stick with flipping bushes, fishing a jig, and maybe throwing a shallow crankbait or a spinnerbait around the edges of the bushes, because with the lake being 3.5 feet high, there's going to be a lot of bushes in the water, and there'll be a lot of fish running to the bank, chasing shad, chasing crawdads. So I would definitely plan on flipping if you were going up the James. Go up in the White River, and the White River is the best part of the lake right now as far as I'm concerned. And it has been for the last 2 weeks. The dam area, I gotta be honest with you guys, these fish are beat up. Everyone you catch has got multiple sores on its face where it's been hooked over the last couple of weeks. MLF was here and those guys beat the heck out of them. Everybody watched MLF
So
and
they
figured
did
out
it
where
too.
they fished and how they caught them, so they've been beating the heck out of them. So the dam area is tough. The White River is not. The White River, to give you an idea, last week I did a trip down here on Wednesday, and in 4 hours we had 11 fish. I went up to the dam on Thursday. Nothing had changed. No water temperature, color, anything. Nothing changed. Same type of day. Went from 11 fish on Wednesday to 36 fish on Thursday. It's just that much of a difference.
We're begging people to go, if they're willing to drive the distance and it's not that far, we can meet you at Baxter or Shell Knob or wherever. And
I've been telling people, if you're willing to drive for 30 minutes, I can almost guarantee you're going to catch twice as many fish as you catch down by the dam. So the White River has been very strong. And anywhere from Baxter all the way up around Shell Knob, up around Big M, all the way to Eagle Rock. I talked to some guys that fished Eagle Rock over the weekend, and they said it was Katy bar the door. Eagle Rock's going to be interesting with all the water they're releasing from Beaver.
No kidding.
That water's going to be, it probably won't be that much colder because most of it's coming over the spillway, but that water will actually get higher when you get up there. So you're going to have, once you get above the Eagle Rock Bridge, the 86 bridge at Eagle Rock, you'll actually see the water being a little bit higher up there because it acts as a natural dam. Be a lot of flipping going on up there. So again, we're talking a Jewel Pro Spider Jig, we're talking the D-Bomb, we're talking a brush hog, we're talking a beaver, whatever you like to flip. A lot of bushes are going to be in the water. So I definitely, if you're going up that way, I would have something tied on to flip. Down lake, down around Baxter, Shell Knob, topwater bite's been great. I mean, I know when I was up there last week, a spook, a whopper plopper, a popar, the surge shad, all those were putting fish in the boat for the first hour of the day. I mean, it's just amazing how many fish we're catching on topwater up there versus anywhere else on the lake. And then what I've been doing is just transitioning either over to a swim bait The Kitech 2.8, 3-inch Bass Pro Speed Shad on a 1/4 ounce head, or they're going straight to a drop shot. Either one of those are working. Catching a lot of fish on a drop shot up there. Again, it's the same sort of deal. Look for the fish in trees.
Yep.
I can tell you a lot of the spots I love to fish up there are long gravel run out points where people have stopped to make sure my boat's not broken down because I'm so far off the bank. But I'm not getting bit on. They're just, there are a few fish there. You might catch 1 or 2 if you move around a bunch and hunt and peck, but they're just not there because they don't have to be. The thermocline's not holding them in that specific depth. So I've been going back into the creeks, hitting those treetops. And some on the main lake. There's some treetops on the main lake bluffs up there that are holding some pretty good fish too. But looking for those treetops that come up around 30 to 50 foot deep and just drop shotting right over top of them. You'll see the fish above the trees. You'll see the fish in the trees. Use a shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, Chompers drop shot worm. All those are working. You were up in the white last week. How'd you guys do up there?
Not bad. It was definitely a lot better than the dam area for sure. And like Eric said, it is worth the drive to go up there. We kind of right now we're kind of beating our head against the wall because we know the fish are out there. We know where they're at. We know what they should be biting, but they're not. You go up in the white and you're doing the same thing you are down here, and you're just catching them.
Bit.
Yeah,
you just getting bit. The fish have not seen as much pressure up in the white or the James for that matter. Not that we drop shot the James a lot, but you can drop shot in the James if it's fairly clear. But both the white and the James are not getting the pressure that the dam area gets this time of year, and MLF only increased that pressure because most of those guys didn't make a long run. Most of those guys launched right here at Moonshine where we were at and stayed within 10 miles. If that. A lot of them stayed within a couple of miles. And if you guys watched MLF, you know where they were fishing and you know what they were doing. And so does everybody else. So these fish have been beat up down here. It's it'll take a little while for things to calm down, these fish to get settled back in. Again, we get that thermocline set up and it'll make a huge difference down here. But it's just so much better if you're willing to go even just to the mid-lake area, but go up the white and go up the James. You're going to catch a lot more fish if you go up there than if you fish down here by the dam. Well, guys, it is almost the end of June, and it feels like it right now. It didn't this morning.
It's getting a little cool this morning.
It's getting a little roasty toasty.
Yeah.
But, other than the dam area, fishing's been really good. If you guys are coming down and you want to learn how to drop shot, now is the time to learn to drop shot. You've heard us talk about the difference between fishing points and flats and fishing treetops, and it may all be Greek to you. But if you come down, hire one of us. We'll show you exactly what we're talking about. We'll show you how to get your graph set up so you can see your bait, see the fish, and actually see the fish bite before you feel them bite.
Yep.
We'll show you how to drop shot. And if you're going to fish in this area, here, Beaver, Bull Shoals, you really need to know how to drop shot if you want to be successful throughout the summer.
Yeah.
If you want to come out and learn how to fish football jig, great time to come out and fish football jig. They're biting it up the James, they're biting it down here, they're biting it all over the lake. So if you want to throw a football jig, now's the time to come do that. Guys, basically, if you're coming to town, you want to hire a guide, you want to go fishing, give us a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com. You can either shoot me an email or book online right there. But get a hold of me. We'll figure out dates and times. Get out there. We'll catch some fish and have a good time. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to subscribe if you haven't done that. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.